I thought they pushed them somewhere else, then they bring them back, or just send them back for us?
I'm all over, but I'm here for you.
You're lucky. That's what Okay, I'd like to call this meeting to order, call at 6 p.m. Thank everybody for coming. Let's go to roll call.
Eldon Larson,
I'm here.
Dayton Flake,
Here.
Andrew Bushman,
Here.
Karsten Flake,
Here.
Kat Hansen.
Here.
Okay, we need a volunteer to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I'll lead it.
Thank you.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Heavenly Father, as we come before Thee, we're grateful for our opportunities and for the things that we have. Please help that during this meeting we'll be able to discuss the things that we need to and accomplish good things. We're grateful for this wonderful community we have to live in and for the school district, for our kids to go to school. And we say these things in the name of Thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. I would like to make a motion that we adopt the agenda as it is.
I'll second it.
Any discussion needed or any changes that you'd like to see? Okay, sounds like we're good. Call for a vote. Karsten?
Yes.
Andrew? Yes. Kat?
Yes.
Dayton?
Yes.
Myself, yes.
I want me to do the minutes for the last one. How does that work?
Whatever, that's fine, go ahead.
I motion that we approve the minutes for the the January meeting.
I'll second it. Any discussion needed there? All right, call for a vote. Andrew?
Yes.
Kat? Dayton?
Yes.
Myself, yes.
Yes.
Karsten? Mr. Fields, you're up.
Thank you. So as part of my report, I'm going to turn some time over for the update on the food service program, and turn it over to John Joyner from SFE.
I think this all got in your packet. I have it on paper too.
Just tell me what you'd like me to put on the screen.
You can put it up
Okay.
there.
All right.
Mr. President, rest of the board, thank you for giving me the time. I wanted to run through where we were at in food service as of the end of January. I typically do this at in the January meeting, but I was busy, so I asked if I could do it in the February meeting. Just some of the stuff you're looking at up on the board, is showing that taking BIC away at the high school has been financially beneficial to the district, because if you look at the difference in paid meals for breakfast, the fourth line down in the first box, shows that you guys have 8,917 less paid meals. That's because we took the BIC away at the high school. And in doing that math, the next box shows you that for every one of those 8,900 paid meals, you got 38 cents per breakfast. That's how much, because we didn't charge anything for BIC, so all you were recouping for those 8,900 meals were 38 cents a meal. Looking at the cost of BIC, in labor, food included, the lowest it could be would be $1.50. And so $1.50 times the 8,917 gets you to the 13,375 number. So it shows that district savings of taking BIC out of the high school is saving the district about $10,000. And we're still, if you look, the number of free meals has gone up, so we're still feeding the kids that need the food and want the food. But we're not having to recoup the losses of the paid kids. So I think that is a big sign there that it's working. In terms of grab and go that we're currently doing there, we are feeding, in January, it was only about 21% of the high school kids were eating breakfast. Earlier in the year when it was warmer, it was more like 45%. So we were feeding, anytime in any school district, as it gets colder, the kids are getting there later because it's cold. You know, we're offering smoothies and yogurt parfaits, which isn't necessarily, cold weather isn't necessarily when they want smoothies and parfaits. So even right now in January, your participation at the high school for breakfast was 21%. Just to give you an idea of where that is in terms of other ideas, Snowflake is currently between their junior high and high school feeding about 5% of their kids breakfast. Blue Ridge is currently feeding about 15.6%, and Heber is currently feeding about 16.7%. So you're, as much as 21% doesn't sound like a huge number, you're outperforming at breakfast time all those three other districts within the Northern Arizona region.
Do you have any idea why?
I think a lot of it is logistics. I mean, we're putting it where the kids walk in and your cafeteria is right there. If you've ever been to Snowflake, their cafeteria isn't even really attached to a building that has classrooms. So the kids don't have to wander through there, and that makes a huge difference. Heber, my kitchen is way back in the back in the junior high building, so every high school kid would have to walk through the junior high building in the morning. I think you have a better...
What's more available?
I think you have a better location than some of those other districts. Going down, you look at the 23-24 food cost, we've spent $63,000 in food versus the 22-23 food cost where we spent $78,700. Some of that is those breakfasts that we'd take out at we'd send out at the high school, and they'd get left in the classroom as snacks. They wouldn't come back to us. We couldn't reuse them. It was just extra food. Plus or minus that, just being more cognitive of the Cisco orders that are going, why are you ordering that? Do you really need that? Can we substitute something in commodities? Just to try to, I got you guys' message loud and clear last year that we needed to do something, and I've tried my hardest moving throughout this school year to save as much money as I possibly could. Next line, labor, we're about flat. A lot of that has to do with minimum wage increases and stuff like that. We haven't added any hours really. It's just catching up with the minimum wage and that kind of stuff. The hope here, when we talked last year, was that if I lost somebody, we would pick up a district employee to do the register and pay them for the hour to do the register. I haven't lost anybody, so therefore we haven't necessarily seen that reaction yet. But that's still the plan. If I lose one person in one of the two kitchens, then we'd find somebody part-time from the district to substitute as that register person to help alleviate some labor issues. Then down at the bottom, 23-24 deficit. As of right now, we're at 39. Doing my math on number of serving days left and participation currently, I think we're going to shake out at -45. I think that's what the number's going to be. If you look at last year, at this time through January, we were at -51, which is kind of a false number, because last year the federal government gave us something called SCA funds to offset higher costs in food and stuff. So we had already received $13,000 in SCA funds last year at this time, and it's not something that's offered this year. So reality says your deficit last year at this time was really $64,000 versus the $51,000. And again, I think we're going to shake out around $45,000 for our deficit based off what we've been trending and based off what the numbers show. And I know obviously that's a big number. It's just participation. Steve talked about maybe getting some more football camps. You get me 3 more football camps, and we're really close to zero. It's just finding that revenue. We don't have it right now. Same thing that the problem in Snowflake is having. Their budget was written to lose $39,000. They've got a lot of kids, but they don't eat. So Cheever's budget, they have a few more weeks of football camp. Their budget that I presented them was to lose $29,000. So it's not unheard of for districts around here to be losing money on their food service account.
John, I got a couple of questions.
Yes.
When you say additional football camps, are you saying beyond what we already do, because we have 2 weeks set aside?
Yes.
So plan on 2 teams.
Either that or more kids.
More kids or more teams. Like in Heber, I run football camp from the last week of June till the week before school starts.
Another thing is, if say Queen Creek's talked about trying to get another school to come with them,
That's what I was
then
talking
that
about.
could almost double in the same period of time.
Sure, gotcha. And are you still doing our menus? You know how you were going to try and spice them up a little bit? It sounds like it worked, but are you doing it or somebody else?
I'm still doing all of the admin stuff for you guys. I'm still doing your menus. I'm still compiling the monthly totals. I'm still presenting the invoice to Steve. I'm still doing all of that right now. The plan would be, moving forward, I have a young lady in Heber that's been working with me for about 4 years, who has a lot of restaurant experience. She managed a $2 million Papa John's as the general manager. I have talked to her about if things move forward that she could split time between, do like I was doing, but be here more consistently than I can now with my schedule situation.
I have a question about, are we talking all of the football money, or are we talking about the money that goes to food for the football camp?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So,
Do you have a number off the top of your head? What percentage of what they pay goes towards their food?
Not off the top of my head, but I
We get that.
yeah.
Right, you know,
Yeah,
It might not, what I remember, but we did increase the price of what the per kid
Yeah.
cost, but it was like, almost 80%.
So most of it goes towards,
Yeah, yeah. So, and then down below, I had just some talking points. I think with the increase in free and reduced percent that we saw at the beginning of this school year, I think CIC at the elementary school is definitely break even, if not making a little bit of money. And I think the elementary school enjoys, I'm talking to teachers, I find more teachers at the elementary school that appreciate the BIC program than find it a nuisance. Whereas, and so if you got buy-in and they like it, I don't see why you change that. That age group is typically, I mean, as a junior high kid or a high school kid, you know to eat breakfast before you come to school. You know, you have a little more cognitive thought about, you know, do I need to get something? Whereas a lot of these younger kids, it's in the hands of their parents or somebody to get them breakfast. So I think there's still a chance they're not getting the opportunity to get the breakfast at home that they should be. And then, like I said, we talked about the grab and go and the success. I mean, like I said, I feel like the kids at the high school that need breakfast and want breakfast are getting getting options and are enjoying the breakfast that is being provided for them. I feel like it's working. I just put in there that, you know, obviously it's the fifth year of our contract, so next year or this year will be a RFP or a rebid year for us. And then, again, my plan for next year, if things move forward, would be, like I said, I would still be here and I would still, you know, come talk to you guys, but I would have somebody that was here on a more regular basis and could, you know, follow up at a quicker pace than maybe I am able to right now currently.
Thank you, John. Anything else from the board?
I have a question. Eric, does it seem like it's going pretty well?
All I've heard is positive reviews this year from students and teachers with the grab-and-go breakfast.
Are we, I mean, we can't really do much about it, but are the kids that need the food getting the food like
I'm sure.
we talked about?
Yeah, yeah. It's open from the start of school till school starts. Like, they have like 30 minutes roughly to go in and grab food, and there's kids that are there at 7:30 getting food already.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you guys.
Appreciate the hard work,
Yeah.
squeeze it any way you can.
Try it.
Yeah, that
You
was
did great.
actually good news, so thank you on that. I got my board report, my written one submitted a little bit late, so I'm gonna spend a little bit more time on it unless you, have already looked at it today, but I doubt you have, so, my apologies, but there are some things I'll go through. Second semester, of course, and, winter sports will be ending this weekend or so, and the spring sports have already started. We have testing coming up next month, in April, into April. We had a project at our elementary campus with our main pump that circulates the fluid through the pipes, and we had a very significant quote from Train to do this, and we were able to do it with some in-town help. I make a note on that as the second bullet. Bruce Nakadene and Bob Martineau, along with our maintenance staff, of course, put some work into this, and we really appreciate them. And as you can see in the written report, if you're looking at it, we're planning on doing, Eric's working with me to get a activity pass. This gentleman, we appreciate his time and everything. So we save significant amount of money. I can give you more on that later. Like, Chamber of Commerce is hosting an event, and it's going to be in our old gym. So I have a flyer on it. This flyer, I could have attached it, but I didn't want to because it says the boardroom. Originally, they were going to do it in here. They think it's going to not be big enough, so they're going to the old gym. That's February 27th. Some federal agencies will have representatives there, helping any organizations in town apply for grants. They're like going to set them up with the right department depending on what they tell them their needs are. So that's all happening that day. The guy organizing it is basically the county economic developer, and he mentioned to me, I don't know if he wanted me to mention it publicly, but I think it's appropriate, that they don't want like a whole lot of people just there watching. They prefer it to be like the people involved with presenting. There's 3-minute presentations, and they'll set it up like a Shark Tank, they said, the Shark Tank show, and you do the presentation, then they kind of line you out with the appropriate people. The school, we're gonna put something, I'm gonna put something together for that, like an energy savings plan. They, according to my sources, they say like, things like turf, HVAC, we have a little list. May qualify, we may be eligible for that, it would be a competitive grant, but, I think we have a good shot because they've zoned our district as a coal transition zone. So, I'm gonna look at it seriously, and, I'll probably start with a PowerPoint, so I'll share that with you regardless, since it's on behalf of the school. But we'll put in like, football lights, turf, and HVAC systems that are more efficient, boilers that are more efficient. I saw a school last year up there, like Kanab, I think it was, Kane County, got, this grant that I'm applying for North schools in Arizona.
Can it do anything with the track?
I don't know. That's a good question. That did go through my mind, but I couldn't fit it, cause it's not really in it. It's an oil-based track, I think, how they make it, but it's got, I don't. I do want to see about heat for the pool, because that's the biggest pool expense. So I think that would, if we could eliminate that, that would be big. So, and I think the technology is there. So, that's going to be part of my presentation.
Thanks for that.
Yeah. If you guys want to come, or if you want to help talk a little bit, that's fine too. You got to keep it real short, under 3 minutes. Yeah, I think you probably all read my email about the ACC rate case. If you have any questions or want me to say anything on that, where it stands. We have a club that is in the process of getting set up at the high school. The kids have done their part, so we just got to get the account set up. It's a Frisbee Golf Club. Is that what it's called, Frisbee Golf?
Disc golf.
Sorry.
Okay.
They
really like the term disc, not frisbee.
Frisbee's an old word.
The brand name.
Yeah, so.
I know what Frisbee means.
I wanted to give some credit to the custodial and
Yeah.
maintenance staff for cleaning out that,
I think it is good.
old preschool building. We didn't use it for anything but storage, right? I think everyone knows what I'm talking about, the old kindergarten preschool. And, that's gonna actually be part of the plan too, because that has some asbestos in it from a report I have. However, it's encapsulated. So I think if they, like, indoor air quality it would qualify under that, and if the board, the district agreed to like use it as an emergency shelter area, perhaps, it's better than probably using our gym. Some places, I'll tell you, like 20 years, Rodeo Chudesca, how many years ago was that? I know some districts that opened up their gyms and stuff, and some things got trashed, and there was fighting over pay, who's gonna get reimbursed what, and getting payment. So if we had an emergency, we don't have an agreement currently, but if we set something like that up, that would definitely qualify for a grant. So it's something to think about. I don't know if you guys have feelings on that. But thanks to the custodial maintenance group for all that work and cleaning up out there. It's, I want to make sure they get thanked for that. Fire marshal reports, we had talked about those, and I sent them to maybe just one board member, but they're attached behind my report if you want to see those. We've addressed most of those things. We're waiting on a couple things, like the occupancy sign for the auditorium is on its way. It's, we have somebody doing that for us. So that is, Jason's been to training for cybersecurity for our district to protect our data. Working with the principals right now on our emergency operation plan. That's what they call them now, EOP, the acronym. And we have to have, they're coming to every school and district to check, with the new administration, and that's fine. We have it set up. I didn't have it on the new form, so I got it on the new form now. And the principals are going through that, and we'll do all the things on there that we need to do. So when they look at it, we if they have any suggestions, we definitely want to hear them. So I can get you that too. That's it's kind of a bundle, but, I could email it maybe. But anyway, so that's taken some time. I've been working on that. I appreciate the principal's help with that. And just interrupt me as I go. We've launched the new Rooms communication program that's through our school app. It's like the same company, and it's like an additional thing to help communication between parents and teachers, and I make a comment about that in my report. We only have about 50% of our parents.
Is that growing?
Active, yeah. So since last Monday, 10% increase. So it's new for everybody. And in honesty, I think we're on the cutting edge of this. A lot of other areas, districts, I don't think have this.
Do we have any feedback as to how it's going yet, as far as parents?
No, but I'm gonna get a survey. The
Okay.
principals may. The elementary, Daryl's using it like to even communicate with staff, not just, between parents. So I'll let you guys is it going good to answer Christian's question?
Has there been any feedback yet?
Not anything significant yet. I know they've started using it and testing it out, but I don't have any great data for you.
It's been a lot of work, I'll tell you that, but I think it's gonna be like Talent Ed. Once we get it set up, it's a lot more convenient for everybody, and I think they'll like it.
So I know a lot of times at the beginning, it's hard.
Like
Right.
that, just the JC one, is it
Mhm.
an
It's
app?
it's part of that.
Part of this?
I'll show them
Steve's got a demo
Okay.
prep before I turn it over to let him show you that. I was gonna say that,
Oh, there it is.
yeah, so it's a very nice program, and, I'll just, go ahead, Steve.
Do you want me to do that now? Okay. I'm gonna do this from my phone, and I'm gonna put it up on the screen here, so let me.
So this is what it looks like when you click on the app, right there.
Oops, okay. So, there we go. Okay, so we call it the JC app, or the Joseph C. Schools app. When you download that from your app store, depending on whether you have Apple or
Free.
Google or whatever. Yeah, it's free. So when you open the JC app, you get a home screen that looks like this. And so it's just kind of a summary of everything. We can go deeper with other things through the menu, but the feed tells us, like here it says, 5 hours ago, state basketball tournament, Lady Wildcats will be playing second round of the playoffs tonight, et cetera. So that's just announcements for people. And then we have events, and events is our calendar. And this just shows, I'm kind of scroll here, it just shows the ones for the next few days, the upcoming 5 or 6 events. And then you can go to see all events right there, which we look at in just a minute. It also shows the menu. So we're at the cafeteria, breakfast, elementary, junior, senior high, lunch, elementary, junior, senior high. And so it's it doesn't have nutritional stuff, but our cafeteria staff keep that up for us. And so, a parent can pull this up and see, quickly, what's on the menu for that day. So from here, you can go click on the menu down here, and then we can look at the feed. Those different announcements. And it gives you a little more information here and there. And it's kind of like, so this one, for example, it's kind of like social media where you can scroll to the left and there's more pictures sometimes.
Some of these do also go on Facebook, we post some on.
Yeah, and what's really nice for us being a staff and managing this, is we go to one place. The other side of the app where we can do administrative stuff. And we go in and say, we've got an announcement, you plug it in there, import your photo or your image, and then you say, it's just simply tapping on a checkbox. I want it to go to Facebook, I want it to go to the feed, I want it to go here. Or I want to send out, anywhere from there to, I want to send out a notification. I want to send everybody an email. You wouldn't do that, obviously, sorts of most things, but and then you click send, and then there. So
Our live calendar will be on that. You can get more details if you click on a date and.
So here's the calendar, and this is now our official calendar. This is where you go. the app.
For everything.
You can also access that from the website, but this is where it all comes from. So we keep everything on here. Now, the nice thing about this, is even though, it can get cluttery because of, all the activities and the athletic events and so forth, what you can do is there's a button right up here, there's the filter button, and you can tap the filter button, and then you can say, all I want to see is, for example, is junior high athletics. So there's these filters, and I go done, and then that's all I see. Or all I want to see is.
Can you click on more than one filter?
I don't have high school kids, I don't care about
Do
high
all.
school activities. And now all I'm seeing is elementary activities. Okay, and then, you can also click on this calendar button up here, and then you'll see it in the calendar format. And it doesn't give you details, except it has a little dot on every day that has an event on that day. So you could look ahead 2 or 3 months. Say, I want to know what's going on March 31st, because, I want to have something, I'm trying to schedule something, and that would be an easy way to go look ahead, what's on a particular day. So, just go back here to all. Another nice thing feature about this calendar is you can input, if you input an address, and not every time that we're going to do that. For example, here, this high school AIA state championship, we put a location on there. Arizona Veterans Memorial Coliseum with the address, and I can click on that address, and I can click open in maps, and we've all used this before, this feature before on your phone. So it will route you to that address. Okay, so you can do all that, assuming that whoever inputs the event in here puts in that information. So you can also click this button to add it to your calendar. It's going to add it to your phone calendar, if you want to run your personal calendar. Or you can hit the share button, and of course, you know how that works. You can send it out to anybody via text, whatever. So, and another kind of nice thing is there's a menu called staff. So all of our staff, and
Is this public?
yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah, we felt like it's important to the community to put a face with people. And so they'll see.
Board members up there. We get board members.
Do we have?
I did not add the board members, but I can.
Yeah.
No need.
Good.
I'm
I've got nice pictures of every one of you.
I'm just curious, do we have, I guess we don't have to have their permission, but do they at least like their picture, maybe?
Well,
I worked at that.
I
I have a better one than Mr. Fields, but.
most of these pictures we're able to pull in from the school photos that we do. If not, Julie will do, when new hires come in, she just takes a picture with her phone and uploads it immediately there. So it's really easy to maintain. And then if you click on somebody like for example, I'm just going to take a teacher. Okay, I'm going to click on Kristen Beatty. Then you have the option, it tells you what their position is, where their school is, phone number. Now that phone number obviously is going to be the school number, not their room, not the phone number. And you can call the school right away, or you can click on email. And in this case, it's from me. That's my personal email address to her school email address. So it's an easy way to email your teacher. Now, of course, we're trying to encourage people to use rooms, but sometimes that's the best way to get a hold of people. Documents is just documents that we refer to on our website, but it's not very and then notifications, and this is where you have to on your phone set up and say that you're going to accept those notifications, and not everybody does. But when you do, it'll give you a little badge on your phone, and or however you when these notifications go out. So you'll see, for example, enrichment day for Joseph City School Terry night has been canceled. Joseph City School will be on a 2-hour delay. It's those kind of things.
like, real important.
Yep. And
Let's
then,
see if they got any questions.
well,
Dining,
and then the
okay,
dining,
dining.
you can go to the last one, and you can pick a date and look ahead. And one more thing I wanted to show you is down here, and DCAT, you just discovered that toggle at the bottom two rooms. So if you hit that, okay, I already signed in. This is like a dummy name that we use to do testing. So I'm logged in as if I were a student. So this is what a student would see. Now, of course, you know, that the little kids aren't gonna do this, but the older ones might. And so, what I can do is I can pick which class. In this case, it's not the real person, so. And then I can look in here and I can see what classwork, and this gets imported from Google Classroom. So it'll say, okay, here's this assignment, as a student, I can see, and by the way, as a parent, it looks very similar, it's pretty much the same, yeah, you can see the same thing.
So is that gonna change Infinite Campus too?
Well, that's our student information, so it pulls from it.
Okay.
They talk to each other.
This is where I would send a message, and as a student, so I sent a message to the teacher or librarian in this case, and I said, I have a question about my assignment. So I just read the first chapter, and then Julie will get a little badge on her phone, so she can see she has messages waiting, right? And then she replied, read the chapter and come to class ready to discuss key points. Mom and dad, guardian can see that, all that as well. Okay.
Of their students.
For their students, yes. And then if there's any kind of materials, I'm not sure, and then,
Like the groups that you're assigned to
Yeah.
as a student or.
so that is, and I think so not only is this a really, I think, in my opinion, is a really good way to manage communication and make sure it's safe and monitored and all that, but it's so easy to access because you just do it from your phone. From the very same app, that you access the calendar, that you access, all this other stuff, the menus and everything.
If I understood correctly, we're also gonna use this for sports
Correct.
instead of the group text thing.
Well, right now, we're using Heya, which is similar to this in a lot of ways for communication for sports, so we're just shifting over to this program.
And this will be instead of text, yes.
Have we started that yet?
We're starting with this sports season right now
Okay.
that's coming out. So we started this in the middle of basketball, wrestling, so we decided to wait till the next season.
Good idea.
And thanks to Steve and all the staff that have worked on this. It's been a lot of work, but it's cutting edge, I think, for us. It could really make things better, so.
How hard is it for the parents to get signed up for it?
Not hard at all. They have, they get is it a barcode or a invite?
Yeah, they call it a magic code. But you get it, what we've done.
That's why I don't open it.
The email, right?
Yes,
I got it.
yes.
I just haven't done it yet.
And we're resending that out, to parents, I think in a day or two, as a reminder, you know, if you haven't signed up already. But yeah, and so when you get that, you know, the parents, you know, when you got that message, there, I think it came as a text message and an email, there was a link on there. And when you click that link as a parent, it will take you.
You have to create a password,
Okay,
right?
you see all my shopping that I did. Let me get a new one here. It's.
Nobody's invited me to any of their groups yet, by the way.
Well.
Are the teachers all set up?
Yeah.
Yes.
Trained and everything. We've had several trainings to try and hit everybody that's hasn't been.
So they get a text message on your phone. It's a very short message, and you don't want to give a lot of details or anything in the text. And so it just says tap here for more information. and it takes them to a page on the website, and it tells them, gives them some information on what this is, why we do it, link so they can download it from either the Apple Store or the Google Play Store. Do I, Q&A, do I have to use rooms, what, how do I join the room? And then it tells them to expect an email invite, and that invite comes from what's called EduRooms, EDUROOMS, so it's not going to be from Joseph City Schools. And so they need to follow the instructions on the invite, and then a few other details there. And then I think we were going to put up the high school. I haven't been over there to see some little posters for students with QR codes that they can walk up to them at their phone and load it on their phone. The other thing that we had planned to do is at some point at maybe like a sports event that we expect to be well attended, is to maybe set up a table.
Parent-teacher conferences.
Parent-teacher conferences, there you go, encouraging, parents who are having trouble, they don't know quite what to do, they can walk up and walk.
That's in March, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Open house too, we'll hit that next year. Anything that we think we can get some sign-ups or help people with, so that, it's gonna take a little bit of time, but I do think it's worth it. Like some of the coaches, Mr. Miller, for example, he got out of this technology before we got this, and he got the HEYA set up, so that's awesome. But it's nice now to have it all connected, and I appreciate all the time. That was good to see.
Okay.
Nice, now we.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Moving along the report, there's some things I already covered, but, the elections, so there's attached on my section of the agenda, you can click on to get, if you're interested in running again, if your term is up. I'll email you who's up, tomorrow. But, the forms and everything, you gotta have 6 signatures. It says why, it says what signatures you need for every district in the county and all that. So, it's one of the middle ones. So, I think you've all probably seen it because you've probably hit the sign up before. Julie Stronger, I could help you. They sent me the directions of how to submit those. Hand deliver or email would work if you sign it.
Is that, I don't know if that's what.
Yeah, that's the one that shows how many signatures you need.
Yeah.
So it's not many signatures to get on the ballot. Also, okay, moving on, like I said, stop me and interrupt if you have any questions or comments. District Spelling Bee was held on the 24th. Appreciate Mr. Moser and his staff for working on that. We had 2 winners, both from the junior high. Good job, Mr. Miller. A lot of times, some younger students will perform really good in that. But Bryce, Simafranca, and Case Fish won, and they're going to Snowflake tomorrow. Mr. Moser's right now their travel, taking them, so I appreciate him doing that. It's good to put some emphasis on academics and give them attention for that. Wi-Fi on the buses, there's a comment on that on my report. They'll have the same firewall protection. It's mostly paid for through an E-rate grant. It would cost us a little bit. But we could turn it on and off. I think it could be beneficial if kids use it on long trips, like if they have a tournament during a school week.
How does that differ from those mobile hotspots that some of these kids would actually get?
It's the same thing as far as the same filters. It goes through the same.
I guess what I'm saying is, we got those mobile hotspots that you can give the kids,
Oh,
whatever, if they don't have their house.
Yeah.
Why couldn't we just throw one of those on the?
well, because it can't handle that many. You can only handle a few connections on a single hotspot. So these are made to handle
A larger amount, but
30 connections.
do you really think there's that many kids that are gonna do their homework on the bus?
What buses are we putting it on? Just travel buses or all?
They might buy them for all, but we, or apply for all. But we're gonna start with 1 or 2.
Yeah, and it's something you can switch on and off. I mean, we don't have to always have it on. And the federal E-rate pays for most of it, so.
What is most?
80%.
We
$1 million or
estimate
$20?
$200 a bus is what it would cost us.
Say that again?
Huh?
How much a bus again?
200,
One time or?
one time.
or
For the equipment,
fee to
for the
go-
equipment, yeah, and the service fee would be on top of that. We already have accounts with Verizon and,
So it's another $45
yeah,
per bus.
yeah, which is,
Plus the $200.
Yep.
I'd be curious to see how much it actually even get used.
And we don't want to
Because
use
most
it
people are just gonna
appropriately.
sit there and play with their phones and they're not gonna do their homework. And we don't need to be giving them Wi-Fi to play games, that's their parents' problem.
I agree. I think we all agree with that, so we're gonna watch it closely. I appreciate that comment. We're gonna monitor that. Might help with some bus discipline if
They're zoned out.
but we don't want them to do, we don't want them to do anything inappropriate. It's going through our filters unless they use a different data. But we're gonna try on the long trips first and see, not like I don't think we'll try the trip to Winslow. And we might, after we see it, try it for one day or something, see if it works. But where they have like homework assignments and they want to get on the app or something, when they're going to Phoenix or Tucson or whatever, Prescott, it might. But we gotta watch it closely. It's probably worth the risk if we can get the money.
and Brian, I think we were only gonna apply initially for either 3 or 4 buses.
It wasn't.
You know, and if it turns out, gee, this is great, we need it on all buses, then we'll deal with it then, otherwise.
Well, why would you need it? Because wouldn't it be able to just move from bus to bus, or is it a stationary locked in?
Stationary. I mean, it could be moved, but you have to screw it in and it has to be mounted, and so you wouldn't necessarily, it's not meant to be portable.
At one time, several of the junior high coaches basically required their students to be quiet and do homework on the way there. Do we still have any of that? Do you? No.
They still have dreams that would happen.
They're quiet in general, junior high, but high school's always quiet, so.
Hey, when you have kids missing half a day of school 3 times in a week or 2 times in a week,
Some of them probably want it.
some of them would probably make use. I mean, you can't, the old saying, you can take a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. But
Oh,
some
trust
of
me.
them are going to drink.
When we go on trips, we try and force our kids to do it, and we turn on the hotspot on their phone and say, do it, and about 10 minutes into it, they're out. Which is the
best way to travel.
So it's well worth it for that.
But I do know that there are kids that do
I got to run to that meeting.
work on travel.
Yeah, if we can get kids to keep up their schoolwork, anything we can do to help with them, in my opinion.
And then just moving quickly down, some of the report items, I've talked about a lot of them already. There's some expenditures that, like if they were items that we purchased, we did purchase a John Deere maintenance vehicle. The other 2 are SLE,
Grant?
grant, yeah. So it wasn't out of our budget, really. There's a picture on there about, Dale did a project on some bus seats. If you get time, you can look at that. We're also applying for an ASU audit that would be no cost to us, where they'll do some energy efficiency recommendations, and I plan on using that. Well, I won't be able to use it at this thing on the 27th, but when the grant opens, the grant isn't open yet, that we want to look at. Intent to return for staff, it's been out, and we got most of those back. It just, there's like 4 people that haven't returned it, and 3 of them haven't even opened it and looked at it yet.
Can you go back up more? What's that Pueblo,
Mechanical, that was a boiler
is
replacement.
it, did they already do that?
Yeah.
Okay. That's all.
I don't know if they invoiced us the final thing, because there was a question on that, but, yeah. But anyway, intent to return, and then there's a chance that, I'm probably gonna be asked by Mr. Moser and his staff, some of the staff, to replace a preschool aide that, resigned abruptly here this last month, and it might, unless you have objections, we might allow her to start. I might approve that position to start before you guys formally approve her, unless you have an objection. That's what my report says. Just let me know. If any of you just have a question or want to wait, we'll wait. But you know, it could make a difference to these kids, to have the help out there at the preschool. So I just want to give you a heads up.
I just put that up, yeah, it's really nice, and they're very comfortable.
And he added a seat in there, one of the smaller buses. That's good. And, override election this year, so I want to just make sure you're aware that's coming up. That decision will have to be made. Currently, we're at a 15. On my report, it gives the timeline that Steve Grant for me on the year frame, how it kind of tones down. You get less each year if we don't go out. Don't have to go out for 15. You can pick any percentage. Bond is different, but this is an M&O override that we usually operate on here. We'll have to talk about that and think about that, because it's going to be an increase to the taxes that we haven't seen here probably ever since we've been in high school. So, since we've been a unified district, so something to think about there, definitely. And, was there another attachment that I wanted? Oh, oops. Probably not. Is it?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Maybe your green power nano will be.
Oh, yeah.
The bus, we're looking at upgrade, but it's not, I don't know. It's kind of tricky, because if the Charger we have out here is good, we might just want to take the one that they're giving us. $315,000 on the bottom. They spec'd out two different sizes, one with 20 seats and then one with 16, and they sent me, and I've asked, on the original paperwork it said it could seat up to 24 or something, but they haven't sent me, but that's the grant actually, so it's a lot of money for a little electric bus that we can use, so it has a good range on it. It might be on the paperwork too. But anyway, so yeah, that was probably the last thing I wanted to mention there, from my report.
Are you gonna talk about the senior?
Yeah, dang it, I must have skipped. I knew there was something. So there's some fundraisers on here. However, the Booster Club dissolved their account, their bank account. We could still have a Booster Club, you know, running it each year. What they mostly did was concessions. They don't do that anymore. But what they did is use funds to pay for a party. It's hard to use any school funds for a party unless it's a club account. Thus, a senior club is hitting fundraising a little harder, and so we have a unique situation that has come up. So I'll let Mr. Miller give a little talk on it.
It's the grad night committee, so now the fundraising goes through the senior class for that committee instead of before it was through the parents and the booster club. And with our rule that they can only get one fundraiser approved through the school board, it's approved through me without going through the school board first. The grad night committee has requested 3 fundraisers that they would like to start before the next board meeting. They just submitted today.
I'm not supposed to approve those, is why we had this discussion.
So
it'd be an exception if we approved them in advance before the next board.
So we wanted to kind of get your feelings on that, if you would be open to that idea for these fundraisers so they could start them right away.
We know what they are. Could you just listen?
Yeah, it's it's the what's that donut sell, whatever, Krispy Kreme donuts. Kat probably knows better than me. She was at the meeting.
I'm all for it because I'm on the committee. So.
Krispy Kreme donuts was one. I'll have to bring it.
There's a Little Caesars Pizza.
Little Caesars Pizza, and then the
there's a
Savers.
family movie night, and then the Savers.
Yeah.
If you have any objections, I won't ask one question. We'll wait to get them approved.
It's the ones we do every year with the exception of the movie night. That's kind of not always happens, but the seniors usually do all the Savers and the donuts.
Where they collect items and the pounds or whatever goes.
Correct, and they take a trailer to Savers and they pay them for the amount.
One thing that I've heard continuously, a complaint about fundraisers, none of them are healthy. And people don't like that. I don't even know that there's an option for that, but I've heard that from several people. They never sell anything that's healthy.
People don't buy things that are healthy.
Yeah,
People don't buy. If somebody comes to my house and says, "Hey, I'm selling salads, will you buy one?" I gotta buy
No, I bought chocolate.
I totally understand. You're right, but I think that's probably more due to the demand for the product rather than anything else.
Yeah, basic.
They're just trying to maybe make it a little more convenient for that group, but if the board has any, like, reservations, we can wait.
So these are, you're saying these all are normal things that they do?
All
Yeah.
but the movie night is something that,
And they-
we've done that before, but it's not a common senior thing every
Yeah,
year.
all of these
The rest of them are all.
But because the difference is, it's not the parents anymore.
It still is the parents, but the money has to go through the class
Yes.
now. And so
But before, where there was a booster club, they did the same events,
on their own.
same cells, it just went through the booster club,
They
not
don't
the,
have an account anymore.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, but the parents have always been involved in grad night.
Yes.
Fundraising.
I'm just, we're doing the same fundraisers, we're doing the same things, it's just that we don't have a booster club to run it through,
So we have.
so it has to go through the senior
Has to
class.
get approved by the school board.
Is there a way,
Fundraisers, I'd say, than a few years ago, because they were contributing from the concessions.
Yeah.
So I'm not
We don't-
sure if they were this many fundraisers, but
is there,
Like I said, all but the movie night, they've done everything.
is there a way to funnel it the other way, so it doesn't look different, or no?
So when you say funnel the other way, just like have the parents hold on to the money, is that what you're referring to? It just gets a little messy.
Not yes, that's an example of what could happen, I'm just, what else could?
there's other options, but we talked at length about this today as a team. There are other options we could do, if you want to know them.
That would be my concern, is that somebody can't come back and say, well, look at what they got to do and we didn't. If I don't know that it would come up or not, but,
Well, these
That's why we're
fundraisers,
trying to
like-
get tentative pre-approval from you before we do it, so it's kind of a roundabout way to avoid that future problem.
all of these have been done before, except for the movie night. We just said what has been done, and then we,
Well, are you trying to say what your concern is? Other grad nights have all,
yes. What if
Then
somebody from
you
2
were
years
afraid
ago
that-
comes back and says, well, you're letting them do more now? Well, no, you're not letting them do more, it's just channeled a different direction, is
We
all.
never let them do anything, they just did whatever they wanted before.
yeah.
However much they could
So
raise.
they could have done as many
Yeah.
as they wanted. They were never restricted.
Well,
so the only thing the seniors fundraised before was for like a senior trip, and then
And then the other
it was
thing
their
for
own
grad night.
thing, how much money they made. This is-
well, the barbecue thing that they did at the power plant for years and years, that was all grad night money.
Yep.
And we don't have that anymore.
Is it gonna
So-
be,
We don't even make near the money for grad night that we used to. So we're gonna be, if you look at the budget for this year, it's gonna be less than what's been in years.
that was another question
The nice thing about it is this senior class is smaller.
We're very small, yeah.
It's, 20, I think we have 23 kids, if I remember correctly, and, most of the time, they don't have that much money at this point, as is common, and we've seen them raise anywhere from $2,000 to $7,000, depending on the year. With these fundraisers, they'll easily get $2,000 if they go
And
out.
that's what we're hoping for. And there's always money that's left behind that, for the next year.
That won't happen
But-
anymore, because it's all going to the senior
Yeah.
class.
So,
It will, but just a little
Yeah.
bit divided, it'll be.
yeah. But we need to make these funds, or there won't be a grad night, so. And we're way behind on raising money.
There's some contributions that usually come in late, like
Yeah.
county, maybe the foundation could do something.
I don't remember, did we do a senior trip? They still went down to Phoenix with that kind of thing.
Well, this class isn't
So are they,
wanting to really do that.
So,
that's the only problem I see.
correct, they are keeping them separate,
How are we keeping them separate? at the
based off of
senior
the
trip?
fundraisers, so we track the fundraisers and how much is made off that specific fundraiser.
Okay, that's the only controversy I see you getting is trying to keep them separate when they're both seniors.
Well, I thought funds for senior class trip was done all through their school year, like
It
all
is.
through high school.
Correct, yes.
Yeah.
So all the fundraisers that we approve for grad night would be, we'd be able to track how much money we made on all of those.
And school funds can help a little bit with the, trip, but not the party.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And last we talked, they are gonna open it up to all the high school kids because the class is so small.
party, yeah.
And the
And if
party,
they only got to invite 3, it wouldn't be very many.
yeah, it wouldn't, 'cause some kids won't invite anybody. And so, and there's not
That's
even
awesome.
25
I've been
kids
trying to
in
get them
class.
to do that for the past few years, but the class has
This
never.
is the most non-social.
Because I thought we had already done that, is,
We've tried, but the classes have all voted that they didn't want to use that.
so now that this class is, can we just make it
No.
from then on?
No.
I-
But
I gotta leave it.
anyone who comes it's gonna be like a $25 fee.
Yeah.
So are there any objections to the fund
I have no objection.
pre-approval? We can wait, or if not, get started at it. We appreciate it. It'll help the group a little bit and the sponsor, and the, you know, because it gets crazy trying to manage everything, and so we appreciate it. So he'll touch base with, the sponsor, Roland.
I think it seems like the only concern would be if they're making a whole bunch more than past years because they get to have more fundraisers, I think would be my only concern, but it sounds like that's not even possibly an
No,
issue.
we're trying to
Yeah,
make up what we don't get.
they were never had to follow our fundraisers rules, so they can do as many as they
No.
want. That's
We don't have a big fine for that, yeah. That's right. Good question, but.
Yeah, but if they have a $7,000.
Okay,
No, let me just add something. We know we pretty much have a ballpark of how much money we need, and that's our only goal.
Okay.
We're not trying to exceed that.
That would be my only
No.
concern in
We're not trying to like go
pre-approving.
gangbusters. We just wanna
Well,
pay for the stuff we
here's the
wanna
deal
do.
though, for senior trips, some classes make lots of money and some classes don't.
Exactly, and there's
It's
nothing
what
wrong
whoever
with
gets out there and hustles, so
Yeah.
like,
that. That's right.
if somebody's upset that somebody made more money, well, I guess you should have done a better job.
there was
Yeah.
one other thing I was gonna mention. in my
Nothing wrong
report.
with it.
Amen.
Those are good points and good questions. One other thing on my report, I wanted the principals to hear this, so, CAT is organizing, community cleanup again this year with the help of the foundation and Diamond S. And so, did you
And
wanna
waste
talk about it?
management. Sure. So we're gonna, Waste Management has reached out and offered to, do an in-kind, donation again to the foundation. And last year, they donated the fees of 5 dumps, like, so many yards, I don't know. Anyway, basically, we dumped the bin 5 times, and they donated the fees. And Diamond S, has agreed to donate the bin, and every time it's filled up between March 1st and March 22nd, it will haul it to the landfill, empty it, and bring it back and put it back at the park. And so it's there for people, it's for yard trash. We don't want people throwing their household trash that would go to the regular dump. It's just your yard trash. We're trying to get people to clean up their yard and get it
Other
ready.
School groups
Yeah.
that want to do a service project,
Yeah.
like the church groups will probably do something, and the
Yeah.
other groups in town might pitch in, but like a school group, sometimes they're looking for service projects,
Yeah.
so we want to let you know.
Do the cemetery or the park, you know, anything like that. That's too much, Daryl, that's too much.
They've been working over
That is
there.
getting cleaned up.
It's looking nice.
Yeah,
Good.
that's more than our one bin can handle.
Has the sturdiest fence in town.
Oh, my gosh.
So if you guys remember those dates, March
It's-
2nd?
We're gonna have the bin put up March 1st, and
Park.
then it'll be there till March 22nd. If you go to dump and it's not there, it's because Diamond S is hauling it to the landfill to dump, and it'll be back. It'll be parked at the north end of the park like it was last year.
Kat, if, we could put something out on our.
Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead, that'd be awesome. I'm gonna
if-
put it out on Facebook also.
If you could give us just some verbiage, and,
Okay.
and what would be really nice is some kind of an image or photo of some
Okay.
kind. Just email them to me or Brian, and we'll get it done.
Okay, all right.
That's all on my report, so thank you for that time, so we can move on, Mr. President.
Okay. Any other, we're all good? No more questions? All right. Let's go to call the public. Anybody? All right. Consent agenda, I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as listed.
3A through
3A through 3D. E. I missed E.
Also,
Dayton or Karsten?
I don't care.
Dayton's writing it down, so it's Dayton.
Okay, any discussion needed on any of those? All right, call for a vote. Kat?
Yes.
Dayton?
Yes.
Myself, yes.
Yes.
Carson? Okay, that brings us to 5A, personnel requests. I'll make a motion that we approve the personnel requests as presented.
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion needed?
Still looking.
Mr. Diaz, we appreciate his service. We're looking for his replacement right now.
Okay.
Sean
And
Layden.
Sean, he's put a lot of years in here,
Yeah.
doing a lot of things.
He's coached almost every sport we have,
A
hasn't
lot
he?
of those years he coached 3 sports, yeah, that's impressive.
Okay, we really appreciate that. Okay. Any more discussion needed? Dayton, you're first.
Yes, sir.
Myself, yes.
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 Thank you. That brings us to 6A, and we'll turn that over to Mr. Phillips with review of possible policy changes.
Okay, yeah, this is the first reading of some ASBA changes. Most of them are not substantive, they're language-based, procedural-based, and, there'll be another reading at the next board meeting for these. And if it's okay with the board, I can go through them at that meeting, probably better than this one.
Have you seen any changes that we need to even really address?
I haven't read them.
Okay. But you will by the,
It's on my list. I got to, so.
They're mostly legislative, response to legislation.
Yeah, there was a lot of legislation.
Yeah, and it's like a few words here, a few words there, kind of.
Do you guys get emails for those? I get emails all the time for these from the ASBA,
I do.
so you should be able to look at them that way.
most of it is language I don't understand.
Well, the easiest part is just look at the red line, what, you know. This is out, this is in. Okay, request for future agenda items.
I have one. I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, we hired a assistant principal or head dean of students and some other things. I think maybe because some of those have already changed, special ed director, let's revisit that, see if we continue to need that position and whatever. And since the next meeting is probably rehires, that'd probably be a good time to do it. So if we could get the information that we need as far as what discipline and whatever they're doing and the things that they're doing, see if we need that.
Sure, I'll work on that and have something ready in March. So I want to have all the teacher contracts and the supervisor contracts for approval in March is my plan. And, I think that could be addressed then, like what person does what in their positions and all that. We could talk about that, so.
Yeah. I'm just curious if it's still needed or not needed, or do we need to rework it so that it's a better fit for whatever?
Okay, anything else? All right, and you can, if you have agenda items you'd like to see on there, you can get them to Mr. Fields or to me, and I can get them to Mr. Fields, and we'll make sure that we get things worked out. All right, upcoming meetings and events calendar.
Go ahead, what do you got?
On here it's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tuesday, March 12th.
Tuesday, March 12th.
That's spring break, I
Spring
believe.
break.
It is spring break.
I work at your leisure, so whenever, you know, I don't know about everybody else here, but I can, whenever you guys want to do it.
Well, I think just because we have a precedence of when time is, I think we need to keep it, is my thought.
Yeah, if.
That's what we like to try and do.
Yeah.
I mean, the only reason to be changing is if we have too many board members that are going away for spring break.
So, if you guys, if there's an issue or you want to change it and talk to each other individually or something, then email me. I can arrange a different date. So, but, other than that, we'll keep it the same.
All right. And
then it looks like I will make a motion that we adjourn at 7:06. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, I'll vote myself yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
All right, we're adjourned, 7:06.
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.